Hey, what's up? This is Daniel Duran from the Glutton for Liberty podcast. I'm just going to do a quick video here. Nick Fuentes did a interview. I guess it's an interview. I don't even know what these things are. Are they interviews or is it just an appearance on a podcast? But he went on Steven Crowder, Louder with Crowder. He went on his podcast and they just talked for a bit and people have been clipping it. Dark Garbaggio. I follow him on Instagram. He's got a lot of cool stuff. Obviously more right leaning, but I don't know. I get a lot of information from there. Look at it and then kind of just do that, you know. Also, I just want to give an update too, because I'm going to upload this before we actually have our podcast uploaded. I did upload the podcast, but it got taken down, and I need to go through and edit the podcast. They said something about promoting violence or something like that. And we would never do that. That's the last thing that we want. I think we were talking about Civil War shit, I think at one point, but I'm not too sure why it got taken down. It just said something about promoting violence or something like that. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to take out the cuss words and like the racist shit that we said, just to kind of make it more visible, I guess, you know, take out all the bad words. But, yeah, anyways, I'm just going to go through some of these things that, Steven Crowder went through with God, my dog, dude. He's all itchy because he's like allergic to food, so he's been kind of. I had to give him some Benadryl after this, but anyways, yeah, I'm just gonna go through this and just kind of react to it as I go and kind of give a little bit more context to Nick Fuentes and maybe kind of my take on like, you know, like who he is, like what he's been doing over the years and who he is. I haven't been following him like forever, but I've heard about him for a minute, at least a couple years, but I didn't actually really start paying attention to who he was until like literally like a year ago. But yeah, I'm going to go through this post here and it's just going to start right away. So here we go.
I have a couple of rapid fires, but I think you're going to like them. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
These are layups, and I mean rapid fire, and then I want to give you the floor. Sure. Nick, I think there's some misconceptions of you. I've heard this said. Can you clear the air? Nick Fuentes, do you hate all Jews, sir?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So that's cool. I think that's kind of where a lot of us stand. I know there are some people that just absolutely just don't like the Jews, which, you know, there is reason why people won't like a certain type of people or whatever, just because of, you know, things that they've been through. But Nick has been like harping on Israel and the Jews. I mean, he always says the Jews. Now, I think he says that just to save time, you know, just generalizing. But I think Steven should have asked him, like, so why did you say this or whatever? And I think that would have been a little bit more productive. Rapid fire questions is fine, but really what he does in this, he just gives like yes or no questions. But Nick, I have heard him say in a previous interview or podcast that he did, like he doesn't hate all Jews. Like he says one of his best friends is Jewish, and that's like the you know, that's like the thing when people are like, do you hate black people? It's like, no, my best friend's black, you know, or I know I have a black friend, you know, and people like use that. They're like, that's a cop out or whatever. So you can't hate a group of people and still have like be friends with them. So that's just a stupid thing anyways. But he should have like, you know, went a little bit more in depth. Rapid fire is fine, but just kind of go into a little bit. Don't give like a long-winded answer, but just kind of go through it.
Do you consider yourself an anti-Semite, a noted anti-Semite?
No.
Okay. Clears that up. Do you believe that white people are superior to all other races on the planet?
No.
Okay.
I would argue that some of his rhetoric does kind of like allude to that belief. Because like when you look at how history is, like the modern Western world is because of white people. And I wouldn't say that white people as a whole are superior, but the white culture can be superior to other cultures. And I think Steven Crowder did a episode on that. He said something like white culture is superior to other cultures. I think he did have one of those change my minds like out of college. But I think that would have been better to elaborate a little bit more. Like, it's not white people that are superior, but it's just the ideas that white people bring possibly are superior. But I mean, also that kind of, I guess you kind of get into like the murky waters of like supremacy, which I don't know. It's, I think one of the problems with Christians and the Jews right now is that the Jews still rely on that, well, we're the chosen people. So they have a superiority complex. And not all Jews, but that is a thing that they just constantly, I mean, well, we're the chosen people. So it's kind of like whatever. I can do whatever I want because I'm chosen. You know, we're superior. So there is a superiority complex within the Jewish community. But I think he should have kind of went over that a little bit more, you know. White culture, I think, is superior to other cultures. Now, I think Asian culture is actually pretty good, too. I mean, I don't live it, but just from what I've observed, it looks like it's very orderly. It's neat. People tend to... I feel like they tend to have more of a sense of community. Even Latin communities. I think Mexican culture is actually pretty badass. I can't speak for any of the other Latinos, but... Mexican culture though is pretty fucking rich and awesome. I mean, they have a sense of community and shit, and they're pretty much all Catholic. I mean, yeah, there's like Jews and shit there, but they're very family oriented, which is superior to American culture here because we, promote all like the baby killing and all that shit. So, which is hopefully we can get rid of that.
Do you want to eradicate all non-whites from the United States?
No.
Okay. Well, Barry Weiss will be very happy to hear that. No doubt she's watching.
Also elaborate on that because he just did I don't know if it was this one, but he just said, I think it was this week, not on this show. He sent another episode, maybe it was his own show. He said something about how like we actually have a problem with, it's not even Muslims coming in here. It's like Chinese, it's Filipinos, Mexicans, and stuff like that. And it's like, do you not want them here at all? Kind of like, what is it? What do you want, dude? I mean, we are the melting pot, but you can't just invite anybody in here, which I agree with that. You can't just have anybody in here. Some cultures don't. You need to demand that they assimilate or you need to get out. If you're not going to assimilate to our culture and how it is here and just, I mean, you can still do your own thing, but you still have to assimilate in some kind of way. I always make this point on the podcast. If I go to Mexico, I'm learning Spanish. I'm going to learn the customs, what's polite, what to say, things like that. Like things that are just the norm over there. I'm going to do that. It'd be stupid for me that's disrespectful to the people that live there and they grew up there. That's their, you know what I mean? So elaborate.
And then because this happens a lot, right? It's Tucker did this with you. Fed. Nick Fuentes, are you in fact a Fed?
No.
Okay. I'm going to get through these rapid fire really quickly. They're actually, there's not much. I have a couple of rapid fires, but I think you're going to like them. Okay. So this week, Jillian Michaels will be on the show next week while you're doing Piers Morgan Censored. And she said that we need to disavow you. And specifically said you had said that women either want or need to be raped. Now, I looked for this. I have not found as a matter of prescription from you, correct me if I'm wrong, that you believe women should be raped as a matter of policy. Do I have that right?
Yeah, you're correct on that. Yes.
Okay. All right. So she's wrong. She's just an angry lesbian. Got it. Now...
He should have elaborated on that. Like, why did he say that? I've seen that clip, and I'd seen it before Shapiro came out talking about it. It's obviously taken out of context because it's like a 5-second clip or something like that. But I think what he was talking about is how women overwhelmingly vote for policies that bring in third worlders. Because, they want to do the whole bleeding heart. I care about everybody, even though they fucking don't. But they bring in these third worlders and they, they bring in people where it's kind of like, I wouldn't say a way of life, but that's kind of like, rape is more common over, in their area of the world. So I think he definitely should have elaborated on that. I mean, not just go in defense mode, but just be like, yeah, I just said that off the cuff, and I was just fucking around being a dick. You know, he's Teddy, stop eating his food. Dude, I'm trying to get my animals to stop eating each other's food, and they're just not doing it. Teddy, stop. All right. Sorry. Damn it. Why do you do this while I'm recording, dude? All right, anyways. Yeah. So he should have elaborated on that. Just kind of been like, yeah, you know, I said it off the cuff. I was just fucking around. He does say that a lot. Like, he's going to be clipped and taken out of context just by people that don't watch him. They're going to get a clip of him, and he's going to be saying the worst shit. But, I mean, it doesn't bother me because I understand that people don't actually, like, mean some of the crazy things they say. Nick doesn't seem like somebody that really means, like, what he says. But he should have taken the opportunity here to be like, no, you know, in front of a more, like, I would feel like Steven Crowder has, like, more of a boomer audience. So he would be able to be like, no, I didn't say that. You know, I said that, but I was just, you know, shock value. I mean, it gets views and, you know, I'm sure that's why he says a lot of that shit. I just say it because I think it's funny. Most of the offensive shit I say, it's purely just because, like, the more offensive something is and people are, like, butthurt by it, it makes me, like, it tickles my fancy, dude. It's just funny.
Finally, this one might surprise people because I know you and Charlie Kirk were sort of rivals, as you've described. Been a lot of controversy floating around that, and people often say that you blame the Jews for everything. Do you believe the Jews killed Charlie Kirk? That's one of the conspiracies out there right now. What's your position on that?
I don't believe that. As it stands right now, I think it was Tyler Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, me too.
That's a little, like, I don't know if he's just doing that just to, because he's been toning down his, like, rhetoric a little, like, as he's gotten more, like notoriety and fame, I guess you could say. So I don't believe everything about the assassination. I just, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff that they hid or they just didn't disclose right away, and then it's like, oh, by the way, like, I don't know. There's a lot to it, so that's a little, like, upsetting that he's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, he's just like, yeah, I think it's Tyler Robinson. I don't know, maybe. But do we really? I don't believe anything the government says at this point. Not even Trump. I mean, I think Trump still was the best option that we had, but I'm not too happy with him as of late. I don't necessarily regret my vote, but he's making me look like a fucking fool. That's basically, I feel betrayed. I feel like he made a fool out of me.
And if there's something else, I hope that. So this week, Jillian Michaels will be on the show next week while you're doing it. We find out, but I think a lot of people would just sort of toss you in that lot. Okay, we find out, but
yeah, that's all for that. But I don't know. I wanna start doing my part of just kind of bringing more attention to Nick Fuentes, because I think it's good to have different views, some extreme, some not extreme. You know, like your milquetoast basic, you know, bullshit. But I'm glad that Steven Crowder had him on, because he doesn't follow that camp of, like, let's not platform this person because they said mean things. You know, everybody should be heard. I don't give a fuck what your idea is. I mean, if you think like I should die and I'm a fat piece of shit, I still want to talk to you about it. Tell me why. You know, that's what Charlie Kirk was trying to do, and he was killed for it. So, yep, that's it for the video. I'm gonna try and have that episode of the podcast out before we record another one. It's just I'm not, like, super good at editing, so I'm gonna have to go through and, like, really, you know, put my editing chops to the test. So I'm gonna have to put, like, bleep sounds or just, you know, cut the audio out every time we say something crazy. But yep, yeah, that's it for it. And again, podcast, we try and do it every Sunday and then release them, like, sometime between Monday and Tuesday. But yeah, hit like, subscribe. Hit like if you liked it. Subscribe if you really fuck with our content. And just be on the lookout for more videos and more content, as I need to get on it and start posting more. So yeah, hopefully you guys will like this one, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.